Morning, students. I'm Dr. Paula Ruby, Assistant Professor of Economics. See, students, in today's class, we are going to discuss about the factors affecting capital budgeting. What are the objectives of capital budgeting? What are the limitations of capital budgeting? We are going to discuss in today's class, right? First, let us concentrate on the main objectives of. We are going to give some introduction about this capital budgeting. See, in the previous classes itself, we have continuously discussed about the capital budgeting. See, capital budgeting and investment appraisal. Actually, it is in corporate finance. It is the planning process. It is the planning process used to determine whether an organization's long-term investments is long-term investment, maybe new machinery or replacement of machinery, or new plans or new products and research and development projects, or both the funding of cash through the firm's capitalization structure. So capitalization structure in the sense it may be debt or it may be equity or retained earnings itself. So it is the process of allocating the resources for major capital or investment or expenditure. An underlying goal consistent with the overall approach in corporate finance is to increase the value of the firm to the stockholders. So a large sum of money is involved, it influences the profit of the firm. So making the capital budgeting is an important task. So long-term investments once made, it cannot be reserved without the significant loss of the invested capital, right? The investment becomes sunk and mistakes rather than being readily rectified. It must often be borne until the project can be withdrawn through depreciation charges or in the worst case liquidation of the firm. It influences the whole conduct of the business for years to come. See, investment decisions are the major decisions that will cause profit to be earned for the firm and will probably be measured to return on capital. See, a proper mix of capital investment is quite important to ensure an adequate rate of return on investment, which calls for capital budgeting. So the implications of long-term investment decisions are more extensive than those of short-term decisions because of the time factor involved. Capital budgeting decisions are subject to the higher degree of risk and uncertainty than short-term decisions. Now, let us discuss about the factors affecting capital budgeting. So, what are the factors affecting this capital budgeting? So, the first factor is capital return. Second factor, accounting method. Third factor, structure of capital. Fourth factor, availability of funds. Next one, management decision, government policies, working capital, need of the project, lending terms of financial institutions, earnings, taxation policies. These are the main factors which affect the capital budgeting. Now let us concentrate on the objectives of capital budgeting. See, the main objective of this capital budgeting is capital expenditure control. So control of capital expenditure, selecting profitable projects as well as identifying the right source of funds. These three are considered the main objectives of capital budgeting. See here, control of capital expenditure in the sense estimating the cost of investment provides a base to the management for controlling and managing the required capital expenditure accordingly. The second objective is selection of profitable projects. The company have to select the most suitable project out of the multiple options available to it. For this, it has to keep in mind the various factors such as availability of funds, project profitability, the rate of return also. The third objective is identifying the right source of funds. So locating and selecting the most appropriate source of fund required to make a long-term capital investment is the ultimate aim of capital budgeting. The management needs to consider and compare the cost borrowing with the expected return on investment for this purpose. Let us concentrate on this next concept, that is the limitation of capital budgeting. So there are some limitation in this capital budgeting. First limitation is cash flows. Second one is time horizon. Third one, time value. And the fourth one is discount rate. These are the main limitations. So first, let us concentrate on the first limitation, that is cash flow. So actually, it is a simple technique that determines if an enhanced value of a project justifies the required investments. The primary reason to implement this capital budgeting is to achieve forecasting revenue a project may possibly generate. The problem could be the estimate itself, all the upfront cost or the future revenue, or all the only estimate at this point. Next, let us concentrate on the second limitation, that is the time horizon. So usually, if we see this capital budgeting, it is a process works across for a long span of years. So while the shorter duration forecasts may be estimated, the longer ones are bound to be miscalculated. Therefore, an expanded time horizon could be a potential problem while computing figures with capital budgeting. Besides, there could be additional factors such as competition or legal or technological innovations that could be problematic. And the next limitation is the time value. The payback period method of capital budgeting holds a lot of relevance, especially for small businesses. So it is a simple method that only requires the business to repay in the predefined time frame. However, the problem it poses is that it doesn't count in the time value of money. So this is to say that equal amounts of money have different values at different points of time. Then the last limitation is discount rates. So the accounting for the time value of money is done either by borrowing money or paying interest or using one's own money also. So the knowledge of discount rate is essential. The proper estimation as well as calculation of which could be a cumbersome also. So even if this is achieved, there are other fluctuations like the varying interest rate that could hamper future cash flows. Therefore, this is a factor that adds up to the list of limitations of capital budgeting. These are the important aspects we have discussed in today's class. Thank you, students.